Tottenham get their pre-season campaign underway in just 10 days, and yet the feeling across a lot of the fan base at the moment is one of frustration when we should be in a period of excitement that the season is coming back. We are watching a new manager work his magic. Things are changing at Tottenham, but yet we can't help but sit here and think we are just moving so slowly in the transfer market. Tottenham have known since about November last year that they're going to have to significantly strengthen their squad over the next year or so, and what better place to do it than in the transfer window in the summer, ideally before the Premier League season starts on the 6th of August. But we know that Daniel Levy doesn't work that way, the club doesn't work that way, and unfortunately there are just a number of different reasons for why Tottenham aren't spending the money on players as of yet. Now, of course, one of the very important reasons that Spurs are yet to do too much business in the transfer window is the arrival of Thomas Frank. Spurs players only reported for pre-season duties on Saturday, so he has only had a few days to get to know his squad, do a few training drills, find out who he wants and who he doesn't want, and then sort of move on from there to what he needs to focus on in this upcoming market and who he wants to bring in. I mean, he took one look at Alejo Veliz and said, yep, you can go. He's gone back to Rosario Central on loan. I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of Brian Hill head out again, and maybe even more loan spells for Jamie Donnelly, obviously Will Lancashire, who was at West Brom for the second half of last season. There's a lot to be decided, and there's probably a lot that has fallen straight on to Thomas Frank's lap, and I do feel kind of bad for him because he's going to face the full brunt of the frustration that Tottenham fans have every single day at the moment, because we've been sitting here patiently waiting. We've obviously brought in Kota Takai from Japan, the most expensive J-League signing ever, and welcome to him. I really hope that you are a roaring success at Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm sure you can learn a lot from the defenders we have at the club: Kevin Danso, Radu Dragusin, Mickey van der Ven, Christian Romero. However, centre-back hasn't been our priority, isn't our priority, and there are more pressing issues that we must deal with in this transfer window. The big one, of course, is that forward player and number 6 that we are looking at. Mohammed Kudus has been the name on everybody's lips for the last, 2 weeks now. There is serious credibility to say that Tottenham and Thomas Frank want to bring Kudus to Spurs. Kudus himself is very keen to join the club. He is, in fact, actually paused negotiations with any other club, and there have been up to 6 Premier League clubs inquire about the availability of Mohammed Kudus from West Ham, but he is giving priority to Tottenham and wants to join us. He wants to play Champions League football, ideally wants to stay in London. So the question is, why have we not pulled the trigger on that deal yet? And it will come to no shock to a lot of you watching that the answer is, in fact, very simple. Tottenham do not want to overpay for this player. There is a fear amongst the Tottenham hierarchy, and particularly with Daniel Levy, that he doesn't want to get to look a fool by West Ham and overpay for the player purely because Tottenham and West Ham are rivals. Our new CEO, Vinay, has a very good relationship with the West Ham board, so I do think Tottenham are just biding their time with this one. Kudus, as I said, has made it very clear that he wants to join Tottenham, and I do think there is that hope that eventually Spurs and West Ham will come to an agreement on how much this fee is going to be. West Ham initially wanted 85 million for Kudus. They're never going to get that in a million years. Tottenham, I believe, lodged a bid of 50 plus add-ons that has been rejected, and I do think we are going back in with another bid for around 60, 65, and my hope and my fingers are crossed for that one being accepted. And like I said, it's frustrating from an outside perspective to sit here and watch and just see our rivals around us spend the money. You know, Chelsea pull the trigger on João Pedro just like that, bang, straight into the Team at the Club World Cup, scores a brace, helps them get to the final. Arsenal, all of a sudden, accelerating on Victor Gyökeres talks. Man United are the exception because they've been working on that Bryan Mbeumo deal for a long time now, and they just don't want to overpay the money. And we're in a very similar boat, and it's really frustrating to see. But that is ultimately how Spurs have operated for so many years now. We are never a team to want to overpay and bow to the pressures of the hierarchy of the team that we're dealing with. And like I said, West Ham have their valuation of Mohammed Kudus, and that is completely fair enough. But there are different mitigating factors in this whole thing. West Ham need to sell to buy, essentially, and Kudus is someone that has said he wants out, and he is probably behind Jarrod Bowen, their most profitable asset, so it makes sense to cash in on him. And the other frustrating thing for us Spurs fans is, as far as I'm aware, deals for other players that Spurs have been working on earlier in the summer have been put on pause while we try and get this Mohammed Kudus deal over the line. And that is why we are seeing such a lack of transfer interest and rumours flying around at the moment. Spurs have made it very, very clear that they want to sign a central midfielder this summer, but I am yet to see a single reliable link putting us in the same frame as a central midfielder. And this is what I mean. I believe that Tottenham genuinely are taking their deals one at a time, and they view this Mohammed Kudus deal as a very important one for the club. We obviously paid 65 million for Dominic Solanke last summer, and it's going to be a very similar fee for Kudus this summer as well. It is a lot of money. I know in the grand scheme of things we've seen Liverpool spend 115 million on Florian Wirtz this summer. Last summer Arsenal spent 100 mil on Declan Rice, and that sort of money does get thrown around, but never by Tottenham. And you guys know it as well as I. We just love to look for the best deal, and we want to get it for the price that makes us feel good about ourselves. So that's a main reason why everything is moving so slowly this summer. And the other one, as I say, is this huge change in management. Now, Thomas Frank is putting his foot down when it comes to the recruitment of his staff at Tottenham. It has been announced now that he has brought a new head of medical staff over with him. Tottenham have let a few of their lead guys go. There has been a huge shake-up there, and I'm hoping that it does fix our injury concerns that we seem to have every single year without fail at the moment, really. And while this is all going on behind the scenes, as I say, Thomas Frank does need time to evaluate the squad properly. That's why I believe we may not see, apart from that Kudus deal, too much until pre-season has actually begun. In the grand scheme of the transfer window, which doesn't shut until the start of September, Tottenham do still have just under 2 months to get deals done. And while that's far from ideal for everyone, you do have to look at it from the other perspective, in the sense that we want to bring the right players in and we don't want to rush it. And that's why they're giving Frank this time to look at the squad and decide what players he does want to replace. Because you never know, he may sit there and look at Guillermo Vicario and think, he is not a good enough keeper to play the way I want at Tottenham. And then all of a sudden, we can go out and get a new goalkeeper. We can say the same with our wingers, with our striker. We know we want attacking reinforcements. We know we want a central midfield reinforcement. And we know that we've wanted that for such a long time. If Ange Postecoglou had stayed at Tottenham after winning the Europa League, I do feel like we would have seen a lot more transfer activity a lot sooner, because he would have been planning with the board, with the chairman for months prior to the end of the season about what he wanted to bring in to that Spurs squad over the summer. And we know that he said this Spurs squad now needs some Premier League experience, and I do think that is why we've been linked with so many Premier League names over the last few weeks and not really too much outside of it. We are getting to the point now where ITKs and some more unreliable journalists are just throwing names at Tottenham and linking them just because there's nothing else going on. And I get it. I'm sitting here just as frustrated as you guys, because I want to see us do some business. I want to see us strengthen that squad. And I want to see what Thomas Frank, what Daniel Levy, what V Knight are going to do to get us from 17th in the Premier League last season back up to contending for those top 4 places, because it's a big, big mountain to climb. Our rivals are strengthening as well, and it does just give that sense of feeling that we're starting to fall behind. You can make an exception for the month of June for maybe not getting deals done. Players are away on holiday. You've got this Club World Cup going on. It's shut for a week as well, but now we are back in the thick of it. Players are returning across the week to their pre-season camps. They will be flying out soon to play their games. They'll be playing against the lower league opposition first. This is the time to get moving. And I sound like a broken record and I keep saying it, but I do think that is the universal opinion of the Spurs fan base. And like I said, to recap, the main reasons why Spurs are moving so slowly with everything is the arrival of Thomas Frank, and because they're taking one deal at a time and they're in the midst of the negotiations for this massive deal that would be Kudus coming in. My message to you guys, I guess, is just be patient. That dopamine hit is going to be insane if and when that deal for Kudus gets done. Signing one of your rivals' best players is going to be an unreal thing to be able to brag or gloat about if you have any West Ham friends, and just hope that we get the deal done for a decent amount of money. That is the main thing in my opinion. Yeah, that is my message to kind of you guys, and my idea of trying to explain why things are moving at such a snail's pace for Tottenham this summer. I'm hoping now we've got through the brunt of embedding Frank into Hotspur way and the players are back, that things are going to start picking up over the next week or 2 weeks at the very, very latest. But let me know what you're thinking of the transfer window at the moment. Who do you think we should sign, and should we be paying 65 million plus for Mohammed Kudus? Also, just a quick personal one for me. I've set myself a goal for the end of the 25-26 season to hit 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel and 5,000 subscribers on my TikTok page. So obviously you know where the subscribe button for my YouTube channel is. Please go and hit it and give me the support across the season, and let me know what videos you want to see and I will make them for you. Link to my TikTok will be in the description box as well. So any extra support that you guys can give me is hugely appreciated, and I will be doing some giveaways very, very soon. So keep an eye out for that, and make sure you subscribe to my pages to be within a chance of winning. But for now, that is it from me. Enjoy the rest of your week. Let's hope that Tottenham can get some deals done very, very soon. And as always, come on you Spurs.